Здравствуйте, мои дорогие подписчики! Вы на канале Дневник актрисы в Голливуде, и с вами я, Анна Орис, и юрист киноиндустрии Ларри Уэйнберг. Тема сегодняшнего эфира – кто такой entertainment lawyer и зачем он нужен актеру? Так, минуточку, а вы подписаны на мой канал? Потому что если нет, то срочно подписывайтесь, потому что я абсолютно уверена, что вы еще ни разу не видели интервью с адвокатом киноиндустрии. Хочу вам немного рассказать о Ларри, прежде чем я задам ему вопросы. Ларри родился в Бруклине, отучился в Нью-Йорке в колледже Бостонского университета, степень в области телерадиовещания и кино. Также он окончил юридическую школу в Лойола Марymount в Лос-Анджелес, специализация в области развлечений. На данный момент Ларри ведущий преподаватель Бостонского университета и юрист в сфере развлечений. Он работал над многими известными кинокартинами и самыми популярными медиа-развлекательными компаниями, такими как Netflix, HBO, Sony и многие-многие другие. Hi, Larry. I'm glad that you're here. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. I'm excited to be interviewed. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so I have a few questions, not so many, just a few. How many years you have been in your industry?
In the film and entertainment industry, I've been almost 30 years, but doing exactly what I'm doing now, probably about 25 years. So I started out, as a lawyer, and I did what's called litigation. So I was in disputes when people got into arguments and had disputes and disagreements. They would fight in court.
Okay,
like lawsuits. And so I started doing that, and then I sort of moved into transactional law, deal making. And so for about 25 years, I've been doing deals and helping people create content and get movies and television shows and produced and books published. And
so it's a long time.
Yeah.
25 years.
25
oh my God.
years, yeah.
So, but how do you work? I mean, I want to know step by step from who you get work, from producers or from productions or from where?
Yeah, most of my clients are creators. They're producers and production companies, producers, writer-producers, director-writer-producers. My specialty is helping create content and doing the deals that make content, that lead to the creation of film programs, television, books, any kind of content, sometimes even plays and digital programming, online programming. So most of my business is divided up into producer-artist representation. So I'll represent producers and writers and directors and some actors and book authors. And then I also represent production companies and financiers of film and television programming. And so I will help them do the financing paperwork and also all of the writer agreements, director agreements, actor agreements, and the cinematographer and editor.
It's a lot of work.
It is, and it's the closest. And then the other part of my business is called production legal work. So when a movie happens or a television show happens, I will represent the movie or the program itself. And that involves all of the financing paperwork and all of the production paperwork. And that's the closest, even though I'm a lawyer, it's the closest to producing that a lawyer can be. That's why I like it. That's why I really, really enjoy what I do.
But how do you choose project? I mean, if you get many projects, you can take everything.
No, I can't.
How you choose?
I do select which projects I work on. I can't work on everything. You're right. It's too much. It's a lot of work. And I only have a small number of resources. Sometimes when I get very busy, I will hire or work with another attorney. I'll bring in another attorney to help me. So the projects that I select are the ones that I actually will read scripts.
Yes, sure.
And I will meet with the filmmakers or the creators. And if a project is, interesting to me and I like it, I will actually, select that project. Sometimes I'll do a project for business.
Okay.
It's like, hey, it's good money. and maybe
For
I
money.
don't, yeah, maybe I don't love the project so much, but I'll do it. Sometimes I'll do a project for less money because I love the project.
Yeah.
So there's
You
sort
like
of
a
trade.
script.
Yeah. Oh, I always read. I read everything. Sometimes my clients are surprised because they think, oh, I'm just a lawyer. I just need to do the deals. I always read the scripts, and as a lawyer, you also need to understand the scripts and the
Yeah.
issues in the
Actually,
scripts.
you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
I
are a lot
agree
of
with that.
legal issues with regards to
Yeah.
when you produce content.
And how many projects you can have at the same time?
The same time, in development and not in production, I can work on 20 to 30 projects at
20?
the same time. But when something goes into production, I only really can work on 2 at a time.
Yes.
When they're in production. I've done a couple of times 3 at the same time, but I went crazy.
Yes.
It was too much. I almost had a nervous breakdown.
And what is your favorite movie that you worked before?
Oh, my favorite movie. It's a hard one. I have a lot of movies that I love, but my first movie that I ever did is one of my favorites of all time. It's called The Last Supper.
Okay.
And that starred Cameron Diaz and incredible cast of actors, Annabeth Gish and Courtney Vance and Jonathan Penner and Ron Eldard and Mark Harmon and Bill Paxton, Jason Alexander. It was an amazing movie, and it was an incredible experience because it was my first, but also it was an amazing story. It was directed by named Stacy Title, and she did an incredible job with it, and it was written by a guy named Dan Rosen, who I met through my mother,
Yeah.
who knew his mother. And so I love that project. It will always have a strong place in my heart. More recently, I worked on a movie called Captain Fantastic with Viggo
Oh,
Mortensen,
I
and an amazing movie, an amazing film. And most recently, I would put very high on my list a movie called 9 Days.
9 Days.
And 9 Days was at Sundance this year at the Sundance Film Festival, and it won the Best Screenplay Award for the festival of 2020. And
Yeah,
it's
I
going
heard
to be
something.
yeah, this is a very, very special movie. It's going to be released in the early part of 2021, and it's a movie that is a perfect little movie right now. And the director is from Brazil, and he comes from the commercial world, and this was his first feature film. And it stars Zazie Beetz and Winston Duke and Bill Skarsgård. It's an amazing cast. I love this movie. It's special. It's going to be a special film.
We're gonna see everything.
Oh yeah, 9 days.
9 days.
9 days.
How you usually work with the actors, and actually, why does an actress need entertainment lawyer?
Okay, very important. I work with actors in 2 ways.
Okay.
Two different ways. When I represent the actor,
Yeah.
I will negotiate the contract on behalf of the actor with the production company or the studio or the network. It's very important to understand the key elements to an actor agreement: the schedule, the specific role and the amount of time that the actor is going to be used for, and the credit is very important. Obviously, compensation, benefits like perks, hair, makeup, and wardrobe, and consultation rights with regards to their look, travel, if they have to travel expenses, accommodations. All of this is very important. So when I'm representing the actor against the network or the studio or the producer, I have to make sure that the actor is taken care of and all,
Everything.
On the other side, though, I work more on the other side where I represent the producer, the studio, or the network, and I'm negotiating with the actor's agent and manager and lawyer.
Right.
But it's all the same. It's all the same
Actually,
issues.
yeah.
Yeah, an actor agreement is very, very specific. There are things that are unique to an actor agreement that don't exist with a writer agreement or a director agreement or a producer agreement. An example would be: is there going to be nudity, or is there a simulated sex scene? Those are important to understand. And if there are, you have to be very, very careful. And you have to frame the scenes and where the actor might be, nude or have simulated sex. And this is important to make sure that the actor is protected always.
Yeah, that's right. I agree with you. How do you work right now? I mean, during the pandemic?
Oh, I've been fortunate. It's hard. It's been hard. The biggest difference between before the quarantine and the COVID pandemic and after has been the amount of production, physical production. Production stopped for the last 4 or 5 months because there's, once things are in production, there are a lot of people working on the set in a small space. And so that was something that became very, very difficult. And the industry and the unions that work in the film and TV wanted to make sure that their their members and the clients are protected in a safe environment. I've been fortunate. I work with a lot of producers that are developing material. I work with an animation studio, and my animation studio has been very, very active, so I've been very busy. And then before production stopped, before quarantine, I was working on several movies that were just finishing. Oh. So during quarantine, I've been working very, very intensely on about 4 or 5 projects that are in post-production, that are finishing and then have sold. And right now I'm extremely busy because one movie called Silk Road just sold to Lionsgate. Another movie, I'm delivering the movie to Amazon Studios. Another movie was just bought by Netflix called Bruised, and that movie is being finished now. And so there's a lot of work that goes on, that's involved in post-production. And then when somebody buys it, when a studio or a network or a streamer buys the movie, there's a lot of work to basically deliver, to give the movie to Netflix or to Sony or to Universal or to Amazon. There's so much paperwork involved. And so I've been very busy and fortunate. And we just got, this past week, the first movie into production. And we're one of the first movies back in production in the state of Georgia. Not Georgia, the country near Russia, but the state of Georgia in the United States. And we finished our first week. And that movie is called Southern Gospel. It's a musical.
Oh, so, wow.
Very, very cool. Very excited.
I want to see this. Have you ever been with the Russian projects?
Oh yeah, actually I have.
What kind?
I've worked on several Russian projects. I have a client who's a pretty significant Russian director, writer, and producer. His name is Marius Weisberg. Marius Balshunas, Marius Weisberg, he's used both names, and he directs a lot of big Russian comedies. I work with him on his American films, and also I've been working with him on adapting his Russian language movies into other languages, into Chinese, into English. He works with the top Russian actors, and he's fantastic. He's he's big comedy. He's done Hitler Goes Kaput, the Love in the City series. I think Napoleon, kind of a follow-up to the Hitler Goes Kaput movie. So he's a big comedian. I worked with an animation, a Russian animated movie that was being adapted into English language. It was a beautiful little movie. It was about the dogs that go into space.
Yeah.
Not Laika, I think was the name of the dog.
Laika, yes.
But this one was not Laika because Laika didn't come back. But these dogs come back. These animals. It was very, very sweet. So I have worked. I've been to Russia. And,
How many times you went?
A couple times.
What do you think? How much the film industry changed over the 20 years? It's became harder, or it's became easier, or just different?
It's not harder. It's just different. It's different. It's because there's been a shift where movies and TV shows are getting made and how many. Obviously, the old studio system, the traditional big studios, Disney and Fox, who are now together, and Paramount and Warner Brothers and Sony. The studios, when I first started my career, were making almost everything. They made the largest number of movies and TV programs. Now more independent productions are happening. More movies and TV shows international are getting made and being acquired. And the biggest change, really the most significant change for the entertainment industry, is the rise of the digital players, the platforms, the Netflixes and Amazons and Hulus, Google and YouTube,
HBO,
Facebook even. It's much easier today than when I started, one, to produce something, because you can produce a feature film with a camera like the one that I'm being filmed right now. You can produce a feature film, beautiful quality, edit and post the entire movie on your own Apple computer and put it out into the world. It's so much easier and less expensive to produce content and to put it out into the world, because you can put anything onto Facebook, onto YouTube. You can create your own channels. It's harder though to make money.
Oh,
that's the hardest thing, to monetize your content. That's the hardest part.
You're right.
It's also much easier, I think, for writers and directors and actors to expose themselves and their work to the world. Because you can create your own web series and you can write it and direct it and star in it and then put it out into the universe on a digital platform like a Facebook or like a YouTube, and people will watch it and people will respond to it, and you can have an interaction and see if people actually like it. But how do you make money?
This is
the trick. This is the challenge.
Yes,
so
you're right.
More and more content is being created than ever because of the digital platforms, for sure.
I agree. So I have a last question.
Sure.
It's a private question.
The private question. Yes, you want to.
No, it's not private. Actually, I just want to ask.
I'm nervous right now. I have to drink. Yes, give me a second. I'm very, very nervous about this private question.
I mean, have you ever thought change your career, or you all the time you was happy that you choose exactly this career?
Well, part of my career, which I didn't talk about, is that I teach. I've been teaching, I've been lecturing for Boston University, which is where I went to school. I've been teaching students from Boston University for 18 years now. And the students who want to get into the entertainment industry, they're going to college in Boston, and other students from other colleges as well, around the world actually, who find the Boston University program, and then they come to live in Los Angeles for the semester. It's basically semester abroad. So, my son went to Paris to study business in Paris for his semester abroad. My daughter went to study graphic design and graphic arts in Venice, Italy. Those were their interests. But there are students who go to Boston University or other colleges around the world that want to get into the entertainment industry. And Los Angeles is really, the most opportunity exists in the world to be in the entertainment industry in Los Angeles.
Yes.
So they come and they live here and they study here for a whole semester, 4 months, and then they take classes at night. And these are the classes, I teach 2 of these classes during the fall and the spring. And in the summertime, there was a graduate school program that I've taught as well. I love what I do because I love being able to see all the effort and all the hard work that I put in and that my colleagues put in and the people who I represent and work with. And then there's a movie, there's a TV show, there's a book. It's nice to see the product, the fruits of your labor, but it's hard. And if I'm going to change my career, right now, my career is probably about 70% law and 30% teaching. I think when I get a little bit older, and when you ask me if I'll change my career, I'm gonna flip that.
Right, you want to more teach.
I'll be more in the education and teaching and less in the day-to-day law. But I'll always be a lawyer, and I'll always have a book or a film.
So you're happy with that?
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's fun, and the best part really are the most interesting people I think that I've met in my life are in the entertainment industry. The most colorful, most interesting, and every project has its own universe. Every project has a history and a story, and I learn. Every time I read a script, I learned something. Every time I meet a director and they tell me what they're working on, I learned something. Very, very interesting people. And so I love that. I love helping people create content so that it lives, but it's very hard, it's long hours, but I also love teaching. I absolutely love my teaching. And so I kind of have 3 sort of legacies. You know, I have my children, my own children, and they're running and they're into their worlds. And then I have all my students, and then I love helping them launch their careers and get them into their world. And then the movies.
So you have 3 babies.
I have 3 children, 3 kinds of children.
Yeah.
So that's what I'll do. Yeah, at some point I'll start focusing more on my teaching. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Larry,
You're
for
welcome.
this
My
interview.
pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Спасибо.
Спасибо. Друзья, я уверена, вам понравилось интервью. Ларри очень интересный человек. А теперь ставьте колокольчик, ставьте лайк, задавайте вопросы, пишите темы, которые вам интересны. И подписывайтесь на мой канал «Дневник актрисы в Голливуде». До новых встреч. Пока-пока.